Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today we're saying goodbye to the beautiful candy metallic gray purple wrap I've had on my car for the past 2 years. This wrap is from VinylFrog and we're going to be seeing just how well this wrap has held up. I'm also going to give you guys some tips on how to make this job a little bit easier. First thing you'll notice, the car is not here in the garage, and that's because she's chilling here outside. So that's tip number one. If you can use some heat to your advantage, definitely use it. So heat is gonna make the wrap much more malleable, which means the process of getting it off would be a little bit easier. I'm gonna be sweating like crazy, but goal is just to get this off, so should make it easier. And as is, we've got a nice 95-degree day outside. We're gonna start off with the hood, being that it's flat and pretty directional to the sun. As you can see, we have the edge right here, and rather than just lifting up one section and pulling, it helps to lift up a chunk so you have a little bit more leverage. We're gonna start in this corner though. The next tip is to try to account for the edges first. This is where, regardless of the wrap job or the material being good or bad, it's most likely to tear. It's really just your leverage versus the wrap's leverage. If it's curved onto the other side of the panel, as it usually is, that's where it's going to want to work against you. But if you lift it up and have all the edges on the surface of the panel, it comes off pretty simply. This is about the point when you can get some perspective on the vinyl and see how it's going to hold up. Bad or expired vinyl will tear pretty easily, which would mean you really got to work at it, whereas good vinyl will come off in big chunks, if not entire sections. Which looks like that's going to be the case with this, so thankfully we're not going to need to use any special tools. One aspect I was pretty surprised by was the adhesive. So with vinyl, one side is the finish, the other side is the adhesive to stick it to the panels. You can smell it when you're removing the vinyl, but for how well it sticks to the panels, it's not sticking to my fingers. So nice to know you don't have to go rinse off your hands every 5 seconds. So I only removed the edges on about half the hood, and you can see because of that, it does tear right about here. But easy fix for sure.
I think we're still gonna go to C-Pot, so if you still wanna go, you can come with us.
Okay.
I kinda wanna go to Ari instead though. Because I have recently had C-Pot, so I wouldn't mind Ari.
Can you turn the camera to me? Just the tripod. Just grab the tripod and turn it. Right there, right there. That's perfect. Thank you. That was so satisfying. There is a satisfying aspect to this that I really wasn't expecting, but it came out very smoothly, so definitely happy about that. Now, if you're wrapping a car with a similar style bumper, I would suggest putting an inlay right here. This is one area that you could see there was some tension, so it kind of tore, and then being in the front of the vehicle, it's going to get a little bit more road debris and the elements and whatnot. So I think an inlay here would do really nice, just to kind of give you that extra level of security. But we do have a little break right there, nothing super significant, but at least something to account for. Just want to take a quick second to tell you guys about my partner for this video, Mint Mobile. You can actually join the nation's largest 5G mobile network for as little as $15 a month. Switching is super easy. It only takes about 15 minutes, and the beauty of it is they sell directly to you online, which means you can switch from the comfort of your own home, your garage, or without even getting out of bed. Now, they activate your phone with a digital SIM card called eSIM. However, if your phone isn't compatible with eSIM for whatever reason, they'll send you a physical SIM card free of charge. My absolute favorite thing that they do is that every single plan they offer comes with unlimited talk and text, lightning fast 5G, and free mobile hotspot. And say it's just you and one other person, you can actually start a family plan with as little as 2 lines. If you're interested in reliable coverage and fast data for a fraction of the cost, go to trymintmobile.com/Dito to get started. You can also scan this QR code right here. I'm also going to be linking them in the description box down below. I want to give a big shout out to Mint, and now back to the video. The good thing about having a damaged bumper is that we're going to be replacing the whole thing, meaning we don't need to remove the wrap on this one, so we're going to have a little bit of an easier job there. We are still at least going to unsecure it on the side so we can get access to the front of the fender where there is some wrap, which leads to the next point: stick to a section at a time. We're going to be starting off with the fenders, from there going to the quarter panel that does reach all the way to the A-pillar, and then from there the doors, the rocker panels, and then whatever's left on the rear end. Now, since you usually remove panels entirely whenever you're wrapping a car, you are going to find aspects of this job where it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get certain edges or get underneath pieces, but there is an aspect of leverage that you can definitely use to your advantage. It's really just going to be the more vinyl you have in your hand, the better chance you have of it not tearing. So areas that are, say, tucked in or underneath something like the mirror, you're going to find that it's going to want to tear pretty casually just because it's literally having something holding it in position. but if you have a nice wad of vinyl in your hands pulling against it, not necessarily just directly out, but away from it, it's a lot easier to remove it. Now, one thing to keep in mind whenever you're doing the fenders and the quarter panels is that the area basically surrounding the wheel well, it's going to be pretty beat up just because it's going to get all the debris and whatnot, but if you can get a nice edge off, it'll work with you, and as you can see, we got it off very smoothly. So for the actual review aspect of this vinyl, as the install, it is a little bit more difficult than regular vinyl, but I definitely stand up the side of I'd rather have a more difficult install for a color that I am absolutely in love with than an easier job for one I just like. Now, I use the term difficult, but it's really more so that it's different because one, it's thicker than normal vinyl that's used in most shops, and two, the adhesive is not as pressure sensitive as other vinyl. It's going to be relatively uniform throughout the entire process, but that's not really something to detract from it, more just something to get a hang of. Now, for the lifespan of this vinyl, I can pretty confidently say it stayed extremely vibrant and glossy and just looked really, really well. It's also been very protective of the rest of the vehicle. And a good amount of rating can come from the removal process, which for this entire section, I basically just manhandled it and just wanted to see if it would come off, and it did. So I'm definitely really happy about that. So you can get away with just a good bit of just yanking on it, which is really nice. But we did remove the tail lights whenever we were installing the wrap, so you're gonna have a little bit that's basically folded under, but we'll just remove those after the fact. It's crazy to think that that's kind of all that it was for such large panels. We are getting our fingers beat up a little bit, just kind of like on this little bend section right here. So I'm probably gonna grab some gloves, but progress is going good. I wasn't really sure what to expect with this rocker panel section being at the bottom of the vehicle. It's gonna get pretty chewed up, beat up, it's gonna get all the debris and just whatever the road has to offer. But I did hydrate the vehicle. I kind of rinsed it off a little bit, and that helped a ton because wrap does need to be hydrated. That made the removal process seemingly a lot easier, so that's definitely something I'd recommend you guys. Make sure your wrap is hydrated before removal. I'm in here thinking this is some of the vinyl that got stuck. That's just dirt. For the rear end, this is probably the best example of just get as much vinyl as you can in your hands and it'll take care of a lot of itself and really avoid tearing. So you can see here, I basically just have an entire wad and I'm just pulling and it came off so satisfyingly, really easily as well. There are certain areas that we are going to need to address. I'm going to need to remove the taillights and whatnot, but the way that I'm seeing it, coming to get the vehicle rewrapped, all those pieces are coming off anyway, so no need to go for exact perfection right now. As long as we can get the vehicle predominantly unwrapped, we're good to go. And here we have it, guys. The car is done. Now, the only piece we didn't do is the bumper, but again, just have another bumper, so no need to actually dig into this one. And yeah, she's not looking so pretty. A lot of it is just the body work that was done to get her ready to be wrapped. So yeah, you're just seeing a lot of these ugly paint spots, but she's complete and she's white again. I'm super sweaty, so I'm gonna go take a shower, but that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. All this is trash now, but it is very pretty.